Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. Our prompt today for Scraptember is to use a selfie, and this is also stretch to sketch. So this is the sketch I'm using today. I'm going to stretch this out into a double page. I haven't done a double page in a minute, and with all the photos that are in that sketch, I thought it would be a great opportunity to do a double page. And this is also one of the few pictures I have chronologically where I am scrapping. That's a selfie. So this is day 2 of Marcus's and my mini honeymoon, where we went golfing. So I just have a picture of us at brunch with the golfing course kind of in the background at Barnsley Gardens. I also have our little golf card where we recorded our scores, and then kind of tried to lay it out similar to the sketch, but I had so much going on this page between the golf cart and the 4 pictures that it really worked out well to pull this into a double page. I am pulling out my One Canoe 2 Twilight. I honestly forgot I had some of this left, so I was very excited when I found that I did. All my favorite papers that are left on this, though, I am saving for another layout. I'm really trying to use toned down papers and use wood grain as my background. All these photos are outside, so I want a very kind of neutral feeling page. So I'm going to be using scraps and ephemera from the One Canoe 2 Twilight. But I'm trying to save my my favorite papers that are left for another page. So I have these 2 wood grains from my favorite wood grain stack. That's the Crafter Companions wood grain paper pad. So I just pulled out 2 as my background. This also helps me because I can do a One Canoe 2 page without going through a ton of paper since the background is covered. I just need to pull in scraps pretty much, so whatever I want to use for layering. And then I have all my leftover goodies from One Canoe 2 that I'm going to try and pull in for ephemera. So I have these cut-aparts. I really like that Sweet and Simple tag. I really think that kind of yellow ties into the little golfing scorecard. And then I'm just pulling in different scraps. I have a couple of the rub-ons left, which I was very excited because One Canoe 2 rub-ons are like on a different level. They're so gorgeous. But you'll see when I go to apply one that they had expired. You really have to use your rub-ons. I don't even know how long they typically last, but usually if you don't use them right when you get them, by the time you think of them again, they've gone bad and they won't rub off correctly, which is what happens. So at least I got most of those rub-ons used up when I used this kit for How to Kill a Kit with Style, but those 2 that I had left were not working. So now that I have my background and how my photos are going to be laid out, I just kind of laid them out similar to the sketch. I'm going through the scraps and all the paper trying to figure out what I want to pull in. And part of me really wants to use this pretty floral. I absolutely cloth paper that's in the Twilight collection is so pretty. But I decided to stay away from all of these kind of pinks and go for the yellows and the blues. Since this is a more outdoorsy layout and I already have that raw kind of brown wood grain background, I decided to keep it kind of simple. So it just takes me a minute to figure out what I'm going to do with that, and then I'll move on to pulling out some more embellishment. I do have both of the hashtag sticker book One Canoe 2 books. The Twilight collection has stickers more in the first one, so I'm hoping I can pull in some of those stickers throughout this page too. I'm obsessed with my One Canoe 2 hashtag sticker books, and I haven't used them in a while, so I'm happy to be doing a One Canoe 2 page where I know I'll be able to use them. But I'm starting layering with some of the solid scraps I had in this collection. I'm going for this navy and then the kind of light creamy yellow because I feel like out of all the scraps, those were the ones that were in the size I needed to layer both of these pages, but also I felt like they complemented my photos as they were. So I'm trying to keep the layers themselves kind of toned down so that when I go in for embellishment, I can use kind of icons and stuff and it won't get too distracting. I'm also really limited on the papers I am using since I'm trying to use that paper pad. So I like this navy. I am going to trim the side that stretches to the left into a tag to complement the sketch. There's a tag coming out to the left of the photos in the sketch. So I'm just doing this really long tag that kind of stretches behind both pages. And I love that that navy kind of grounds your eye a little bit. And now all of these kind of photos have an anchor point, and I can build my layers from there, and everything's going to be connected. I'm going to use some white and gold twine to thread through that tag farther down in the process. Because I know there's a lot of gold ephemera or gold accents in this collection. So I'm no gold's going to be my metallic. But before I get going too far, I want to start gluing these layers together because there is so much going on between the golf card and the 4 photos. So I'm trying to space them out how I like them. You can see that golf card, I trimmed that back half that was going to be overhanging the first page and added it to the end of the right hand photo just so it looks like that runs on both pages as well. And now I'm trying to line them up. So I want this to look like one big page, but none of the photos are going to be cut in half. So there's a seam there between the golf card and the selfie, and then the 3 photos on the right hand side. So that's how the double page is going to be separated. But I'm trying to look at it all together so that everything flows. I know, again, I want to use this sweet and simple tag, so I'm going to go ahead and layer that up where I think it'll go, which will be right in the middle on the left hand page. And now I'm just seeing what else I want to add. So again, I'm limited in my scraps from that paper pad, but there is this kind of creamy yellow that was a decent size to stretch from one side of the page to the other. So I am inking these in my Distress Oxide, the Ground Espresso. And this way, I like doing this too when I have double pages. I like there being at least one paper that really stretches edge to edge across both pages. And that yellow was perfect for that. So I'm just adding that underneath this navy. And again, that helps with kind of anchoring all my pieces to the page, and I can build from all of my layers. This is kind of where I realize after I get this glued down, like right, I have a bunch of photos and 2 solid pieces of paper. I want some more pattern. So I do go through some of the scraps that I have, and there's a really pretty pink, yellow, gray, gold marble that I only had scraps of, but I needed some pattern, and I thought if I did little pops of pink, it would be okay, but I liked that the marble had so much yellow in it. It kind of complemented the sweet and simple tag and the other yellow parts I was already bringing in. So I will end up bringing that in because I'm realizing as I'm looking at this now, I have this wood grain background and then everything else is just solid and boring. So I do need a little bit more interest within my layers. But I think this was a good starting point, so I'm happy with it. This is where I'm trying to line everything up without shifting everything. So it just takes me a minute to re-glue down all of these pictures to the background and not shifting them so they're crooked to the companion page. So it just takes me a minute to do that. I do definitely want some more layers by the Sweet and Simple tag. I'm thinking maybe a doily and some of the stickers. I need to go through all of the ephemera and figure out what I want to do. There is a sticker sheet and a gold flat alphabet that comes in the Twilight paper pad, so I definitely want to try to use a lot of that stuff up too. But I don't think I've gone through that just yet. I think I've only gone through the cut aparts so far. But this is where I try that one rub on. I thought it would fit perfect right there in the lower right hand side of that second page. I forgot what it said, but I needed that pretty gold on this page, and I remembered how much I loved these rub-ons, and then as much as I tried, it just was not transferring properly, so I give up and I try to scratch off whatever did transfer, and then I end up just layering a sticker over it later. I was really sad about this because I loved these rub-ons so much. They were so pretty. But yeah, I struggled for a minute because I was really determined to get it on here, but I realized it just wasn't going to work. So it takes me a minute. I'm just going to try and scrape off with my fingernail what did transfer, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just cover it with some ephemera and move on. But I think this is where I go back to my paper pad and pull in a couple scraps of that really pretty marble. These are all the scraps I kind of pulled out that I thought I could use on this paper pad. There's that sticker sheet. I really want to get a lot of that used up. But I'm like, I need another actual paper layer that's pattern and not solid. So I like the blue constellation pattern. There's a couple pink patterns I think are cute, but this yellow, pink, and gold marble I just thought was beautiful, and I couldn't not use it. So I'm going to try and make this piece look like it stretches behind all of these layers. So there's a little bit of that pattern on both sides. So I'm just going to trim that up and kind of tuck it behind the navy layer. But I really think that makes a big difference in adding some interest, and my layers aren't so boring and solid. So I'm going to trim that down. Of course, I forgot to ink them. I don't know if I go back and ink them or not. But because it's a marble going on the wood grain, I feel like I don't notice it too much. I'm going to go ahead and glue down the tag because I know I really want that up there. And now is the fun part where I just kind of get to figure out ephemera and my clusters and decorating, which is fun. Sorry, there's a garbage truck in the background if you can hear all that commotion. But yeah, do I go through the sticker book now or do I go through my sticker sheet? I'm trying to remember. I think I go through the sticker sheet. There is a bicycle on there that I think is really cute. All of these stickers are very thin, so you will see me mat them onto white cardstock and then fussy cut them just so they're a little bit more substantial. I know a lot of these are going to be going over multiple layers, so the thin stickers just wouldn't have looked very nice. But I thought it'd be fun to use a bicycle. We did bike both days we were here. They have complimentary bikes, so you can kind of go around the resort however you feel like it. So I thought it was appropriate to get a bicycle on here, even though there's not a bicycle in the picture. It's kind of part of the experience of being here was biking around to all the different spots. So I'm just fussy cutting this little bike. I'm going to have that on the left-hand side below the golf card, the scorecard, and create a little cluster there on that tag, the blue tag. So I think that's a nice little focal point for that cluster. I don't know if you saw in the beginning, but I have some leftover epoxy wood button ephemera from the Twilight collection, and I really want to get them on this page. There's only 4 left, and I think because a lot of this so far is going to be a lot of paper layers, I need that fun texture, and I love what those add to a page, so I will try to get those used up too. I think now that my tags are down, I'm going to go ahead and thread them, and I'm just doing a double threading and tying a little bow just to add a little bit of interest. I love all that how layery that looks, and with the pops of gold I think it just ties in great. That truck is really loud. I think they're leaving though. I'm sorry about that. But I got that one tied, so I'm going to do the same thing with my other tag, and then I think I'm going to go in and start actually sticking stickers down. But my goal was definitely to try to use a lot of the ephemera from the Twilight collection because I have a lot of Twilight ephemera and not so much paper left over. So I want to try and use as much of the ephemera I can while I have the products to use with it. And I guess I did remember to go back and ink the marble papers. That's good. So here's a couple more stickers from the sticker sheet. There's just a couple layers I knew I would be able to use within the cluster. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those off and back those in the cardstock. And then there's a couple word stickers that I also know I'll be able to get on here. Actually, I think there's just one, and then I'll pull in another word sticker from one of the hashtag sticker books. But I definitely want to get all of that used up. And then I do just take a moment, now that I'm really low on the sticker sheet, it's going to be more difficult for me to pull it out with just a couple sparse stickers on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just fussy cut the stickers off of the sheet so I can move them around like die cuts. I think that's really going to help me use the rest of them. And then when I go to store the scraps of this collection, it'll be easier to store than on this big 12 by 12 sticker sheet. So I'm just going to take a moment to do that. I left that in because some people ask me what I do when I get towards the end of a killed kit. And this is kind of what happens. I try to consolidate what's left and just store it all together in a smaller baggie. And then when I am using another collection that I know can coordinate, I'll pull out these little packs to use as supplement for whatever page I'm working on. So glad I got that taken care of. Now that 12 by 12 sticker sheet isn't as clunky as it was. And I'm going to fussy cut these labels that I just backed so I can pair them up. But I'm thinking the blue and gold one I'm going to layer over this little bicycle that I added. And I think that pink and gold one I'll add up by the Sweet and Simple tag just to build out my little cluster a little bit. And since I do have that one yellow word inspiring, I'm going to pop that up on some foam and layer it over the blue label because I really like how the bicycle's pink, the label is blue, the word sticker is yellow. I like how I'm kind of balancing all the colors that are on this collection. So I'm trying to do the same thing on the Sweet and Simple tag. I have this yellow tag, the pink label, and so I'm going to try and find a blue word sticker to layer on top of it so that my clusters are complementary, but they're not identical. But I'm using the similar colors and everything's kind of balanced. It just makes me happy. So I have that kind of layered up, and now I'm going to start working on this top cluster. I definitely am going to add a layer to that top cluster because I feel like there's a lot of wood grain there and it's very angular, and I think adding a doily, I'm going to like the pop of white, but I'm going to like that extra texture and kind of breaking up all the square corners. So I don't know if I do that now yet or not either, but I do go through the hashtag sticker book, I think, and find a blue word sticker to use. And again, I will back that on the white cardstock, fussy cut it, and pop it up on some foam. And then this is where I'm going in with my alpha sheet from the paper pad. I don't have a G, and this sticker sheet, I know I can spell words, but I really was determined to spell out golf. And I had the O, L, and F, so all I needed was a G. So I ended up taking the numbers, the number 9, and shoving that down as a lowercase g, and then taking one of the parentheses and looping it up so it looked like the G's tail curled back around. So hopefully that looks like a G. But I was really determined to use some letters from that sticker sheet since, again, that's from the Twilight paper pad. I'm trying to get all that stuff used up. And the gold foiling was just perfect for the rest of the stuff. So that's just going to be my little title up there by that cluster. And I like that that title is on the right-hand page, but it kind of branches off of that top cluster that's on the left-hand side. So again, it just kind of draws the pages together to really make it look like one big layout, which I always find really fun when I do doubles. And now I need to add another cluster. There was one more label sticker I wasn't thinking about using on the sticker sheet, but then I was like, I have these 2 labels in the other 2 clusters, and I want that third cluster on the far right-hand side to kind of create that visual triangle. So I decided to go ahead and use it. It's just a dark blue tag with like a hot pink thin line around the edge. It just says you and me in gold, and I thought we might as well get it used up. So I did back that on some cardstock and fussy cut it as well. And then there was a floral that was on the sticker sheet that I decided to add to cover up whatever remained of the failed rub-on. And then I just layered the you and me label with some foam and added some dimension. So there's a little bit of dimension in each cluster too, which I like. This is where I go back in and add the doily. And then it's really just finishing touches. I definitely want to have a little finishing touch. I definitely want to get some of those wood buttons used up. But at least my paper layers are done and the main parts of my clusters are done. So now I'm just going through the hashtag sticker book and seeing what all I want to pull in. There were a couple pencils, which I thought would be nice to use on here because we have the scorecard where we were marking all of our scores with a pencil. So I initially added 2 on here. I had the pink one on the scorecard and I added the blue one to the top cluster, but the blue one I just thought was not needed, so I took that one back off. And then I decided to straighten up the pink one a little bit just so I didn't want it to be too distracting, but I wanted it on the page, so I like that I got one of those pencils used up. And now I'm going through, I think this is where I'm finding that blue word sticker for that top cluster, and I just found one that said today. I really just was looking for a word sticker that was blue to finish out that cluster up there. So now that's done, I'm going to pop that up on some foam. And then finishing touch wise, I love these sticker books because there's a wide range of sizes and there's kind of bigger icon stuff, big word stickers, small word stickers, but I like it because there's a lot of like confetti type stickers. They have little stars, little plus signs, little arrows and hearts, and and especially because they're multicolored that complement all of the different One Canoe 2 collections, you could really kind of find whatever color small thing you need to finish out your clusters. So I'm going in with a bunch of plus signs in the pink and yellow color scheme. There is a star that is the same yellow color as that lower layer, so I thought that would be nice to pull in. So I'm just kind of sprinkling those, a couple of those in each cluster. And then here are those really sweet wood veneer button ephemeras, epoxy button ephemeras. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to get all 4 of them used up because they're so cute. And I was going to have 1 per cluster, but then I would just have 1 left over. And I know it would be really hard for me to use one of those on its own on a layout because I typically like to have multiples like this. So I decided to do 2 of them down by the bicycle and then 1 in each of the other clusters. But here are the close-ups. Here's page 1 and then page 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out everyone who's stretching the sketch today. They'll be linked in the description, as well as the Scraptember playlist to follow the prompts this month. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.